Writing Me Before You was an odd experience because I had a very clear story in my head, but I knew that some of the issues in the story could be quite controversial. So the whole way I was writing, I was worried that nobody would want to read it. And in fact, I have a friend who's a best-selling writer, and when I'd written about 20,000 words, I had lunch with her and I told her that I was thinking this might not be such a good subject for a book. And she was the one who said, you have to write this story. And then when she got home, she told her husband, and he rang me and said, you have to write this story. And they really convinced me to keep the faith and write it. And I'm so glad I did. With this idea, I knew it was potentially quite a controversial subject, the subject of assisted suicide. I realised that I didn't want it to be a sad book. It needed to be a book that had a lot of humour in it as well. So I'm not known for my humour, but this book, I really enjoyed playing with the characters and seeing how they made each other laugh. And it was one of the things that actually made it popular among readers. I think that although it covers a serious topic, there is a lot of laughter. Lots of readers write to me and they say, 1 minute I was laughing, 1 minute I was crying. And that's exactly what I hoped for. The story differs from normal love stories because it is essentially about a man who has lost the will to live, a man who suffered a catastrophic injury after a motorbike accident. And he has decided that after 2 years of living like this, that he wants to go to Dignitas, the Swiss clinic where they offer medically assisted suicide. And it's about his relationship with a young woman who comes to help care for him, who decides that she's going to change his mind. I think it's really important that Lou and Will come from very different backgrounds. When I was writing the book, I was conscious that it's quite hard to make a man who is paralysed from the chest down into a romantic hero because there's a lot of women who are not going to find that attractive. I needed to give him some other advantages, but I also needed them to come from very different worlds so that there is a lot of mutual misunderstanding between them at first. But there is something about Lou's background that enables her to cut through all the way that people have been treating him with kid gloves. Everybody's frightened of upsetting him all the time. And the way Lou speaks to him is how she would speak to a member of her own family, very directly, with no messing around. And actually, he quite likes that. Well, I actually wrote Me Before You back in 2010. I think it's almost a year before Untouchables came out in France. I was a bit reluctant to see it because somebody told me that the stories were quite similar. But then I did watch it last year. It made me laugh and it made me cry. But I was quite relieved because they are quite different. Yes, they both feature a disabled person and their carer. But that is about the relationship between two men. And this is about the relationship between a man and a woman who fall in love with each other. But it's also about assisted suicide and whether we have the right to prevent somebody from ending their own life if they want to. So I think that there's probably room for both of them.